So, hello and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be unedited. It's going to be me mostly talking about the past few things that happened between Kendrick and Drake and also the analysis. So let's get into it. First, I want to talk about the battle, the history of the battle, not the history before the battle and the problem they had together. You can watch other videos about it, but I'm gonna talk about uh, the beef itself. So let's get to it. The first thing that started this journey is the first person shooter, J. Cole and Drake. If you watch the video or even if you listen to the song, you can see that in the song, J. Cole mentions Kendrick as the top three. But when it gets to Drake, Drake only mentions J. Cole and himself as the top rappers. So that's the thing that maybe started this. But I want to go even deeper. That I know for a fact that Kendrick has planned this way before that. And he was waiting for the opportunity to reveal this information. And if you reveal the information without any like subliminal diss tracks or any like sneak disses, then it would sound that you're desperate for attention. So Kendrick waited for opportunity to strike. And then we get to the Like That song, the verse that Kendrick started saying and referencing the songs and saying that I'm the best one out of these. And these are all like friendly competition. This is nothing like the thing that we are seeing now. And then we get to the main diss tracks. So first we have push-ups. After I think 2 or 3 weeks, J. Cole released the song, apologized because Schoolboy Q informed him that this is not a friendly diss track. And then Drake dropped push-ups. In the push-ups, he addressed a lot of people, from Metro to Rick Ross to Future to Weekend, but the main part was focused on Kendrick. And the things he said were mostly, you are small, your feet are small, your songs are tragic, and the main competition. But he did something that no one expected, that he mentioned Kendrick's fiance or wife being with his bodyguard, cheating on Kendrick with his bodyguard, which further you can notice that it's inconsistent because Drake then says that Whitney, Kendrick's wife, cheated on him with Day 3. So when the first song you drop, you're saying that your wife cheated on you with your bodyguard, then in the next song you say Day 3 is inconsistent. You're contradicting yourself because which one is it? I thought that the song was not bad, but it wasn't the best Drake diss in this whole saga. And then after I think another 2 weeks, Kendrick dropped Euphoria, which I reacted to, and not reaction, just explaining the lyrics, and I got a lot of things wrong. And the reason is we didn't have the context, we didn't have the info. Kendrick saying that I have information about you, that you where you get your apps from. No one knew what was going on. It was just, Kendrick saying that I have information about you. And in that song, Kendrick never really took a shot at Drake, family, or friends. He only said some subliminals that can be perceived as direct shot at Drake's family and friends, but we didn't know that at that time. Only Drake knew that this was aimed at them. And Kendrick also said that in the song that you're not raising your son right, you're not spending enough time, and all these things. And then we get to Family Matters. And before Family Matters, I think it was the night that he released Euphoria, Kendrick, that he dropped another song on Instagram, 616 in LA. In that song, he was talking about himself, his problems, and also uh, the mole, the informative that he has in the OVO camp. And he said that, you know, he's giving me information, don't go any further. Then Drake took that as an offense, took that as, you know, didn't take it seriously. And he took it further. He, in Family Matters, started talking a lot about Kendrick, the accusations. We know that he beat his wife and those things that Drake made, and also the cheating that Kendrick has a son that is not his own. And that was the main parts of the song. He also again took shots at other people, which I think wasn't the right call. But I think the strongest part of the song was the beginning of the song, the Family Matters. You know, Kendrick calling him that we don't want you to be part of the black community, and Drake saying, no, I am part of the black community. I think that was the only strong part of the song. And the other parts were not bad, were good, but the accusations were the end of the speech. Because when Drake made those accusations, it made everything worse for him. Then, exactly after Family Matters, like not even an hour, Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams, which I think is the best diss track of all time. Not only because it's a diss track, but because it's shedding light on more important topics in the industry. And a lot of people might think like it is only a diss track, but it's way more. At least for Kendrick, it's way more. It's not just a friendly diss, it's not a competition, it's Kendrick trying to expose Drake and also the industry. I mean, I can't, for legal reason, I said these are allegations, but we will get into that. So in that song, Kendrick started talking to the family members. First Adonis, and then Dennis, Drake's father, Sandra, Drake's mother, and then in the end, he starts talking to the baby girl, the alleged 11-year-old daughter of Drake, and the last verse is directed at Drake himself. And a lot of people think it's a rap battle, but if you listen to the Meet the Grams, Kendrick says, I think 3 times that this is not a rap battle. You know, he says, F the rap battle, I don't care about the rap battle, this is a battle with yourself, this is a battle with the industry. So, in that song, we hear a lot of allegations, like the people around Drake are apparently bad people or apparently terrible people. Not bad isn't even the right word. They're very huge criminals, they're organizations, there are chains behind this. And also he compares Drake with Weinstein, and then he starts going further into details that how he has done it. But that song was like an exposure song, but also a very scary song. It sounded threatening. And then I think in less than 24 hours, Kendrick did up another one, which is Not Like Us, that just no rubber raw. Kendrick talks about the names, talks about the people, and also talks about like the allegations in names. Not only saying what you did, but calling you names. And it started going viral, it started spreading the news. And then Drake responded with Hard Part 6, which I think is a terrible diss track. It's not even diss track, it's more like a defense track, but it's terrible. Because the things that Drake mentions are terrible. You know, I'm a Kendrick fan, and I've been for a long time. I've been a Kendrick fan for most of my life, at least half of my living life. And I think that Drake got almost everything wrong. First of all, the diss track tone was very defensive, was very lost, someone who is trying to give up. But the lines were all very bad, I would say. First of all, I want to get about the defense situation. Drake says that don't compare me to Epstein. The Epstein angle is what I expected. But if you look at all the songs, no one, like, even if you look at, I don't know, Twitter or Instagram, people were comparing him to Diddy and Weinstein, not Epstein. But the angle that Drake took was the Epstein angle. So don't compare me to Epstein, which doesn't make any sense. Then another defense line is that I don't care about no Millie Bobby Browns, which still is a very weird thing. And people, in Twitter started talking about Millie Bobby Brown and how the situation is very weird, that more than 30-year-old man is texting a 15 or 14-year-old girl. It's definitely very weird. And the thing that, was, I think, the worst part was Drake mocking Mother I Sober. Personally, for me, Mother I Sober is one of my favorite songs of all time, and I think he took it completely wrong. First of all, the track is not about Kendrick getting abused. It's about his mother getting abused and how he is trying to escape the generational trauma. He's trying to get out of all this, trauma and all this pain that has been through generations and has been transferred through generation, and he's trying to stop this and put a stop on all this trauma and pain. And then the other thing he gets wrong is that I think it's mostly not what he gets wrong, but what he thinks. He mocks Kendrick for being assaulted, which is a terrible thing to do, especially when you have these allegations. Then you are mocking someone for being molested, for being assaulted. Doesn't make any sense, because that's the very thing you are trying to defend yourself from. And also mocking the songs that are about this situation and mocking the victims, and this is a terrible angle. And I think the last diss track of the Drake was the nail on the coffin. That was the worst thing. So now that we got the diss tracks away, let's talk about the things that are going behind Drake. And the companies, the people, and all those things that I think make Kendrick even more believable. First of all, if we listen to Kendrick's songs throughout the years, even the songs that he's on with Drake, Drake as a feature, you can, if you look at the lyrics, you will see that Kendrick is always talking about how these things are wrong and someone is doing these things in the industry. And the lines, if you compare them to the lines in the diss tracks, they are alarmingly similar. It seems like that this was the plan from 10-12 years ago, and Kendrick has been trying to gather more evidence maybe, or try to prove this and expose the industry. So if you look at the songs throughout the years, like Poetic Justice, and also a lot of songs like Element, and also America Has a Problem. And America Has a Problem with Beyonce, that was very recent. Kendrick talks also about those things. So I think that this shows that this has more depth than just a rap battle. Then we get to Drake. Drake has worked with a lot of companies, and I want to talk about two of the most recent ones that are very shady. It's Stake, the betting company, and Kick. If you don't know, Kick is a sub company, a sub brand of Stake. So I will talk about Stake as the main holding, the main company. First of all, the owners. The owners and how Stake started. Betting companies and betting websites, they require a lot of wealth, especially in the beginning. After a while, you will earn your money back from these companies, but especially in the beginning, you require a lot of money. And we have two different directors, two different CEOs, I would say, owners of Stake that they started the company. One of them, his father was a director in Iran, so he was directing movies, and movies which are not huge movies. Actually, they are series and smaller movies. He won some awards, but if you look at like the most successful directors of all time, like Christopher Nolan, like Tarantino, even those people don't have enough money to start a company as big as Stake. And the collaborations they do, none of them have this amount of money. And if you look at the stories about them on social media or on Google, on our even media outlets, news outlets, they all say that they gathered this amount of money with cryptocurrency and investing in cryptocurrency. Well, that's actually very weird because even people with a lot of influence, people with a lot of knowledge on cryptocurrency, and even, sorry, cryptocurrency scammers, they all earn in millions. And when I say millions, I mean $2 or $3 million most. No one earns more than that. And even if they do, they have to invest a lot. Stake is a company that has started with billions. So if a company starts with billions and they say they gather this amount with cryptocurrency, they have to have invested at least 500 million. So the question is where this money came from. And if you look at the background of these people, you can see that these people are connected to a lot of different government, different people, which are very shady, corrupt people, and you can search about it, you will find information about it. I don't want to get into the details because I'm not a reporter or anything, so I just want to shed light on this to see these are very shady. And Drake has collaborated with them a lot and also supporting them. But then we get to the actual contract itself. If you look at Drake's net worth and the money he has earned, it's around 300 million. But then the way he spends the money is very weird for someone who has 300 million. Having a $100 million mansion, another $17 million mansion in America, and a plane worth 100 million, and also gambling problem. You cannot have this. Like, he gambles in millions. You cannot do that if you have only 300 million and you're already spending this amount on money, on cars, houses, mansions, and planes, private airplanes. You're not going to have enough money for those things. So that's a bit alarming because someone with 300 million is not able to afford all these things. Then you get to kick the contracts. 100 million with XQC, big contracts with other creators like 18 Ross and I don't know, Sneeko and other creators which are present on the platform. And this is only the money part. Then we get to the actual platform, Kick, and which includes a lot of streamers. And the streamers do a lot of weird things. People have made videos about it and videos about people on Kick that they do a lot of bad things, they do a lot of shady things. And the most they get is a 24-hour or a 72-hour ban, which is not a lot. Like for some crimes they do under 24 hours is nothing. It's even less than a slap on the wrist because they get only a rest day, like they get only one holiday, and also the amount you get paid on Kick is also alarming because these companies, YouTube, Twitch, and streaming platforms and media platforms, they need to earn their money back and they need to make a lot of profit. So when Kick is giving 90 to 99% to the creators and is only earning 1% of the revenue from ads and everything and subscriptions back, that makes the company to be in loss. I've studied economics, and before that I've studied philosophy, so the topics I'm talking about I'm at least knowledgeable to some degree on. And I think that is very shady because how are you going to earn your money back unless this is a facade? You cannot earn your money back from 1% or from these deals. And the other thing I want to talk about is the Drake covering this company. The Drake, I said because I want to say the beard that Kendrick talks about, Drake being a beard. Drake is somehow covering these companies. A lot of people are going to join these communities and watch Kick streamers, join Kick, or bet on fights on people in stake website. I don't want to say that they are bad people. These are all just findings that are available on the internet, but I don't know the details. So the other thing that makes this whole thing more weird is people coming out, the person that was kissed on stage by Drake, the underage girl, and also celebrities that were suspected that they were with Drake at some point. I mixed the names. And those people are coming out and saying, it was nothing important, it was just a friendly communication. And that makes it worse because it's actually proves the point of Kendrick that Drake is a master manipulator. It's like gaslighting the victims that you are not the victims, this is normal, this is nothing happened, and those things are those are the actually behaviors of a master manipulator. I don't want to go into details a lot because I don't want to be someone who just misinforms people. And then we have a lot of people coming out with evidence. Recently, I think this is very new, at least. This is for, I think, maybe last 24 hours or last 12 hours. That the people with information, with videos of CCTV, with the pictures of the cover art of Meet the Grams, those people are coming forward and saying that Drake and the Drake team, I don't want to say Drake personally, maybe it's the PR team, maybe it's the managers, they are threatening them both physically and also legally to sue them or to harm them. And they are saying that if this continues, they're going to reveal more information. And a lot of people say that those evidence are not real, But if you look them up, if you look the time, if you look the like the CCTV, and also the time that the team and Drake had the concert in that city, it all connects and makes sense. So those are not just fake evidences. And yeah, that's most of the things I wanted to talk about. Uh, I don't want you all to go to and harass people because this is not the right thing to do. But if y'all are interested, try to look up the people behind the companies. Try to look up more about where they come from, what they do, their relations with different people, and try to search about that. You will find a lot of information. This is like the best example of hidden in plain sight because it's in front of you, but because it's so obvious, you think that, you know, this is not a problem. Something being so obvious usually goes without suspicion. But I want you all to reflect on that. And also, personally, me myself, I have seen these people when I was younger. I have seen these people do weird things. I have seen these chains and circles that harm, especially young people. And it's not just harming young people. There's a lot of money laundering. There's a lot of uh, trafficking. There's a lot of uh, deals and a lot of weird things going behind these platforms and behind these corporations. I think the most recent example is Boeing. I don't allegedly I don't get in problem, but the whistleblowers are dying in very suspicious ways. For someone who's just 45, 45 is not an old age. It's still not a very young person, but still a very young age. And to die from a sudden cold or disease is very suspicious. And also the other person, killing themselves doesn't make any sense because how can you, shoot yourself 3 times in the back to do that? Doesn't make any sense, but this is just me informing you that these big companies are not saints. They are not clean companies. Maybe it's not the whole company, maybe it's a department or some people, but still they are doing a lot of weird things. And a lot of allegations have some weight to them, especially on Kendrick's side. On Drake's side, not really, because if you listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, you will see that the relationship between Kendrick and Whitney is not very good. They were separated for a long time because Kendrick cheated on her after the Good Kid, Mad City tour, and he is very sorry about that, and the relationship is not working. The generational trauma is affecting the relationship, and Kendrick doesn't want to harm her, but he still does because of the cheating and the abuse that Drake is talking about. Kendrick talked about before, and it's not physical abuse, it's the fact that Kendrick cheated on her, and definitely it took a mental toll on Whitney, and Kendrick openly talked about that and informed us about that way before this rap battle. And the other thing is that Kendrick and Drake going at each other is a mistake on Drake's side because Kendrick has always been very open about his life, his mistakes, and everything he has done. If you listen to the albums like Mr. Morale, you can see how sorry Kendrick is for cheating on his wife. He says it multiple times. He has been open about his mistakes. He has been open about him talking about like gangster things that he has been through. And Drake on the other side has been very, in the secret, in the dark, with his life, and Drake never talks about these problems. Drake never addresses these problems until now. Drake never talked about these problems. So I think it's a overall very weird situation. I will link a professor down below. Watch his video. His video is great, and he goes in details about the manipulation and the gaslighting. I also agree with him. And for people who want to understand Kendrick more, I suggest you listen to Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And for people who are trying to understand the philosophy behind the moral accusations and how things work, how like the age of 18 is very important for a lot of people, although a lot of people still are not fully grown at 18. And the recent studies shows that 25 is actually the complete age that people are completely grown up. So I don't want to see anyone in the comments defending what Drake has done, allegedly at least. And I suggest, if you want to know more about the philosophy of human mind, that start with Plato, Complete Works. The first book especially is, I think, the best start to get into philosophy. And this video has no edits because I wanted this video to be as raw as possible. And thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thank you. See you again.